Donnie and Dolly. The team is supported by ableauctions.ca. Closing your business? We can help.
Thanks for the warning there, Ryan. Appreciate it. Today's guests, we're bringing them aboard. Brought to you by the Vancouver Giants.
Oh, so nice.
The Giants are back in action at the LEC this weekend as they take on the Prince George Cougars, 7:30 p.m. Friday night. And it's a trick or sweet night on Sunday as the G-Men take on the Kamloops Blazers at 4 p.m. Have a group of 8 or more that wants to head to the game. The larger the group, the better the savings, Rick. Get all the info at vancouvergiants.com/group tickets. Giants had a tough one last night, losing 4-3 at the LEC to Winnipeg.
A very good Winnipeg team. Yep. Absolutely.
Yep. Okay, as we bring in, and our thanks to the Giants, by the way. Well, I don't know if we have time later in the show, but your conversation before the show started with Giants owner Ron Toigo.
Stop it.
Just unbelievable. What a friend you are. Maybe we'll let people in on it.
Later
on. Farhan Lalji joins us now from TSN. How are you?
I'm good. You know, I saw Rick's tweet that the Giants game against the Regina Pats and Connor Bedard already sold out, so I'm going to have to call my good buddy Dale Sipe to see if I can get in there. See, so I called Dale, whereas Rick goes right to the owner. You know, and sorry, this is my Donnie and Dolly.
Look at that!
But you know, so Rick goes right to the owner, and he probably will have a private meeting with his family and an autograph session and everything like that for Connor Bedard.
Yeah.
You know, all of that stuff. So
Taylor's tighter with the owner than I am.
Yeah,
this guy is.
You know him well,
listen,
Farhan.
Taylor, all Taylor does is get free white spot.
Oh.
You, on the other hand, you're right in the midst of everything. You probably help hire the coach.
Free golf. That's all I want.
Hey, Farhan, offer Ron Toigo or Dale one of those mugs, the Donnie Dolly mugs. You're going to get at least 4 or 5 tickets to Connor Bedard, Regina Pats. November 25th, by the way, at the LEC. If you haven't been out there, I know it's been a few years, but it is a great place to watch.
Beautiful.
Watch a hockey game. Before we get into the meat of things, Farhan, your thoughts on the Canucks reverse retros if you've seen them.
Yeah, did I read that they're not going to use them in the rotation this year?
I don't know. We'll look into that.
They're okay. They're not bad. I mean, they've got so many versions of the same uniform, right? Because it's the same color scheme, the same trim, pattern for the most part. It's just, change the logo here, put a different logo here. I haven't seen anything that really stands out to me as markedly different, right? So, yeah, they're good. They're solid.
Yeah, but not a huge thumbs up. Thanks, Farhan, for joining us today. Appreciate it.
I'm not going to – they don't blow the doors off me because, like I said, I just don't see enough of a difference in all of them, right? Like, they're not necessarily enough – I certainly like the Johnny Canuck logo, right? And, we've seen a bit of that in Abbotsford, although they've got more of a green-based jersey. So it's good, but let's see what it looks like on them. I know what it looks like on you. Like, you are the uniform connoisseur. You are the expert of all things uniform and numbers. That's your thing.
Yes, yeah. Well, and I like the numbers on the front, by the way. And hats off to you. I said this as we set you up in the previous segment that I love what the newest Hayaks did over the years with a silver helmet, black and orange. It looked great. Hey, Farhan, winless in 4 in Minnesota tonight. Are the pieces here, are the pieces in Vancouver to turn this thing around, or do they have to make some changes?
Well, the pieces are here for them to be better than 0-3-1, right? Mm-hmm. Like, what they've done in the third period of games it's ridiculous, right? I mean, this is a team that we understand where the flaws are, especially on the back end, but it's not just the defensemen that are causing problems right now. Yeah, there are some issues in terms of transitioning the puck, but I mean, we've also talked about the amount of problems the forwards have been having, right? Starting with JT Miller at the top of the list. So, and the fact that they've just kind of gotten good goaltending or average goaltending, they haven't got great goaltending, which this club probably needs a little bit more of. So all of it is, again, I mean, this is a team that if everything went right would have been battling for the 7th or 8th playoff spot, right? And again, everything needed to go right from a health standpoint. And here they are today. Guess what, Donnie? Every healthy forward is there, right? Like, who are they missing? Right, you look at the back end. Okay, they're missing maybe Tucker Pullman or maybe Travis Dermott, neither of whom is deemed a top 4 forward. Right, they're average pieces. They've got Tyler Myers back. They should be able to function at a higher level than they're currently functioning at. So, could they use another defenseman? Sure, but are the pieces there for them to at least be 500 right now? Sure, they are.
Farhan, for those that are looking for a coaching change, Jim Rutherford told us yesterday it's not going to happen. I don't think it happens anytime soon. I know the heat's on Boudreau, but at some point they got to get some wins here. Bottom line.
Yeah, you're right. And, you can't go – I don't think they're going to go as deep as they did with Travis Green last year, right, where you got into that 25-game mark before pulling the trigger and making that decision. So is Jim right for saying that it's not going to happen right now? Sure he is. But there is a number that even he's got, and I don't think it's 25 games because they cannot afford to dig themselves the hole they dug last year. And you've also got a management team, or at least a GM, that doesn't necessarily believe in the head coach, right? I mean, I think there's a bit of a – I don't want to say disconnect, but I think Jim feels one way and Patrick probably feels another. And so in order to kind of get past all of that, Boudreau's got to do better than he's doing. So if they get into that 12, 15-game mark and we're dealing with what we're dealing with, I think they'll absolutely make a move at that point. But I don't think it's going to happen if they go 0-4-1 or even 0-5-1 after a home loss. But I'll tell you, the fan unrest on Saturday will be a little bit different if they don't win this game as well and go home winless.
Absolutely. Speaking of fans, Lions had a really good crowd last game. And you know what? They got a chance here, Farhan, to play host to their first playoff game in 6 years. But I'm trying to get – we're trying to all figure out if Nathan Rourke's going to play or not. We hear good stuff, and then we hear, take your foot off the pedal in terms of enthusiasm for it to happen. Where are you with, is there a chance he can play? And are they going to bring him back too early, and it could hurt him down the road?
Yeah, I think he will play. And I know last week when you and I talked about this, I said it's still a real long shot, and I thought less than 50-50. Now I think it's like 80-90% that he plays next week. He's going to have a setback in order for him to not play next week. And, so they've got to walk through today. That's not going to determine any kind of setback. But next week, the plan is for him to be a full participant in practice and operate the first team. I don't think he's going to play the full game on the 28th, but I do think he could play around a quarter just to knock the rust off. And a lot of it depends on what happens. I look at the Edmonton Elks roster I saw today, and I'm trying to figure out a path to victory for that team on Friday. I don't see it. I think BC is going to win that game Friday, as desperate as they are to end that home losing streak. And then if that happens, you play Rourke a couple series the following week just to knock the rust off and get him ready for the playoffs. But I do think we're going to see him play. From everything I've been told, the surgically repaired foot is actually stronger than the other foot currently, right? Like the foot that has the plate in it is stronger than the foot that doesn't have the plate in it. And the plate is not in a joint that is excessively mobile to begin with, right? So it's not like, he's got a plate and it's affecting his mobility. All there is right now, there is some pain in that foot, but that pain is the result of not having used it in a long time and just tightness and atrophy around those muscles. So as he breaks through that over the course of the next week, I think he's going to be close to pain-free by the time we get to the end of the week. So I do think we're going to see him play unless something weird happens during this week.
Modern medicine, something else. Cody Fajardo, very quickly, Farhan, in Saskatchewan. Of course, he spent some time with the Lions a long time ago. What's happening with him?
It's not going well, and I think he's probably started his last game as a Saskatchewan Roughrider, barring injury. He's not going to start this week with their season on the line. They're going to start Mason Fine, and that kind of tells you everything you need to know. The team's not conceding this season. They still have a slim chance to make it, and they think this gives them their best chance to make it. So, it's tough. I think Cody had that good year in 2019. He's playing behind a really bad offensive line, but he's also not necessarily been that accurate and efficient himself. He's missed some wide open receivers in the last couple of games. And, Craig Dickinson tells me they need a spark. And you generally, you can't change 5 offensive linemen. A quarterback is certainly a way to give you a spark. And, my sense of it is that Cody Fajardo is probably not going to be a starting quarterback in the league next year. I think someone will keep him and bring him in, but potentially as the backup or a chance to compete kind of guy, as opposed to a franchise starting quarterback like he's being paid to do now.
Go buy your reverse retro. Thanks for this, Farhan. Appreciate it. Love the mug.
The mug.
Farhan Lalji, TSN.